In this demo, we're going to look at customer insights or customer 360 degree, more on a B2B scenario where you track the sales, customer sentiments, marketing insights, product insights from a B2B perspective. It's not targeted for B2C scenario, but we could use the same logic and the app and the solution components to do a B2C based analysis as well. This app is very useful for sales lead, marketing lead, operations lead to understand the sales trend of various customers in the various regions and how the sales progress are tracked using the insights from many third party systems. Some of the systems that's used in this demo are SAP at the backend, Jira ticketing systems, Salesforce for a case, lead management system, Twitter for social media sentiment tracking and converting that into a case or into a new lead or a new contact or a new opportunity, and also LinkedIn as part of tracking the relationship with your B2B customers. The system uses the core Dynamics 365 customer insights for map, mash, and merge, so the user doesn't have to really do a lot of data science related work. The solution uses AI and ML models at the back end to give you that insights real time. The project can be easily built within weeks rather than months and years to have the data consolidated that is useful for you to take next best actions. Some of the solution components that's used in this demo are third-party connectors such as SAP, Twitter, Salesforce, Jira, LinkedIn, Power Apps, Power BI, Azure AI, ML, Synapses for operations data. We're also using the core D365 or Dynamics 365 customer insights and Power Platform capabilities. The app is built completely using the functionalities and solutions and the connectors that's available as part of Microsoft Power Platform offering. There's no development of code is required. There's a bit of configurations and setup that we could use. However, this app doesn't use a lot of code, probably few of them, to just to give the user design and UX experience. Let's head into the demo and then see how all these functionalities can be built in the app. I'm on my mobile tablet. The app is at the top. I'm going to click on that. It's going to take to my homepage. This app can be built both for mobile and tablet experience as well as for desktop client experience. And the app is made available offline as well. As I said previously, this is what the app does. It takes data from various systems that you may have. It could be the competitors, on prem, legacy data in your servers, SQL servers, sales data, marketing data, operations data, or any data for that matter that you wanted to map, merge, mash, and give you the right insights to take the right and useful next best action. For example, I want to see why the sales trend is low in certain region with the B2B seller. And with the data that you are inputting into the app would give you that insights based on the Azure AI model and machine learning engine at the back end. And all this is possible with the middle layer here, which is powered by Microsoft Dynamics 365 Customer Insights. Once that is done, you could take the data to any native Microsoft solution such as Office 365, Teams, Outlook, Power BI, Excel, Azure, Synapse, Dynamics 365. Plus, of course, this whole app is built on Power Platform. Now let's get inside the app and see how all this falls in place. This is the second homepage where the user kind of sees what he or she want to see and easily configurable. The previous homepage was more to tell you what this app is all about. Now I have 8 different menu items here. As a user, you don't need to have all these 8 items. For some people in sales, they don't really care about what's happening in the operations side, customer case management side. Likewise, folks working in marketing may not be interested in quite a few of these stuff. Using the same principle, some users who are the lead of operations wouldn't care about the LinkedIn marketing. So, based on how the roles are defined in your company, you could break this app into 8 different parts, if you will. For a demo purpose, I'm going to assume that my role is everything in here. So, I want to see all of these functionality. It's more of showing the art of possibilities, and that's why you see this app could have a lot of functionalities in there. But in a real production or in a real live world, you probably want to break this into a few different apps for targeted certain users from a specific department or business unit. Now let's get into all of these menu items and see how all these features come together. I'll go with customer insights. Coke is the base customer that I built this demo. My customers are KFC's, Watson's, McD, Pizza Hut, 7-Eleven, retail malls, Fair Price, Cheers, Lazada, and Amazon, who are the retailers as well. Some are retail shops, mom and pop stores. Some are outlets, as you can see here, and some are e-commerce site. So we are trying to provide you all the possibilities where your sales touch point or your sales signals are available. You could sell through Lazada, you could sell through WeChat, you could sell through Alibaba, you could sell through Amazon or any social media. And you could sell through physical stores, you could sell through physical malls. And they are your customer. And that's what we are tracking. Now, you could also track this with your end consumer. There could be millions and billions of them. And you could take that insights as well. For this demo, the scope is B2B. So I've picked in a dozen of some of these examples where you are selling to your retailer, your distributor, not to end consumer. Okay. So now this could be classified into territories, east, west, north, south zone. It could be classified into region, cities, where your sales lead is handling. Now let's pick one of these example. Let's take KFC for example. And if I click on this, it would take me to an insights in terms of what's going on with this account. Am I attacking it properly? Is there a problem? And all this insight comes from your backend CRM system. It could be Salesforce, SAP, Oracle, ServiceNow, Jira, or Dynamics 365 customer engagement. And I could just be on this app and manage my sales performance, manage my customer relationship. At the top, it lists top 3 activities, and I could make a call right by clicking on that button. I could click on this Outlook, and it could open a Outlook client, and I could send an email right on this app, get in touch with the customer, what's going on in terms of the latest sales, the orders, and stuff like that. We're also gathering all your past experiences using Viva Insights. That's part of Microsoft offering, which automatically gathers every action that you take on this account from your sales tool and tells you you made X number of calls, X number of meetings with that particular customer. As you get this up, we do have further buttons in terms of AI recommendations and details about that particular account. When I click on the AI recommendation, it tells me I have X number of cases open. In this case, it's 9. And then it also tells me the number of cases closed. So when you are going to meet this customer, you want to know all the latest background details. You don't want to rock in there with hundreds of cases open and probably 10 cases being closed. It's not going to be a friendly conversation, I bet. Plus, it also tells me an indicator what's my annual franchise turnaround looks like. You probably have to define anything above 50 is good, anything about 70 is great, anything about 90 is wonderful. So you can get those all those insights. So have it in your mobile app built on Power Apps and enables you so that you have every data that is there for you to go and meet your B2B customer on your next best actions. And you could get any insights that you want to from here. Now we would go back to summary tab, click on fundings. And if you are working in a distributor model or a direct, indirect reseller model, war model, there's many models that a retail selling operates with the B2B customer. In some cases, you would want to give an advance payment, in some cases, advance goods, and then track how it is coming. In some cases, you want to fund them as well, especially when there is a season like a Christmas, if you will, or an event in that particular region. The B2B store vendor or a retailer would probably ask you for funds to help him or her, and then they would pay you back. So you could bring those insights as well in terms of the fund that's been provided and how much you are tracking with those funds. Plus, you could also use that as part of your marketing funds and then the build details of that particular customer who is selling your product on behalf of you. So it gives an end to end outlook in terms of how you could get the details in terms of insights. Now I'm going to click on recommendations, and this is where I end up. This is AI driven recommendation, and you can search for those customers. If you have more than a dozen in real world, you would have hundreds and hundreds. It's totally possible. The backend data is powered by Microsoft Dataverse, which could support trillions and trillions of data. So we'll go into the KFC one more time, and then you would see the recommendations coming here saying you need to increase your social media spend. And if I click on AI recommendations, it gives you two recommendations. Of course, you could have more than that. Based on the data that you have, the system would generate the next best action. The first action is it's telling you to increase your social media spend. And we've seen this happening when there is a FIFA World Cup or a global event or any other cultural event which pulls people, which pulls attraction, where you have to market your product. And that's where you make a lot of sales. And that's how your retailer, your B2B customer can make sales as well. So the first recommendation is all about spending 12% more than your competitor could get you 28% of the leads. Now, this is coming from my sample data picked up from Salesforce or SAP and other systems. And if we try to deploy this product on your production environment, we would use your data where we have Power BI to gather that real-time analytics. We have Azure Synapse to make those models at the back end, giving you back the right set of recommendations. These are out of possibilities. The second one is recommendation number two, local networking program to be increased. You would want to tap in on this summer period where people wanted to increase their fluid intake, and it says it could increase 12% of your volume increase. So these are some great insights that you would get as part of customer 360-degree product. Now, if I click on sales, it's going to give me this particular screen, and it tells me a sales target, which is, if you saw in the background screen, let me go back one more time. 500K is my sales target, and I need to meet that for that particular quarter or a month or a fiscal. All right. So this kind of completes the first part of customer insights. Apparently, there's been a lot of useful data that is inside. And if someone just want to take a look at recommendations only, they can just click on that, and then you would see a series of these recommendations coming from the system. For example, in some cases, it says the lead conversion rate is low. You probably need a new code tool. You probably have to increase your training courses, and so on and so forth. So the data is varied based on the customer, in this case B2B, that you choose. It's not the same insights that you get for KFC you would get for 7-Eleven. Again, based on the data, right? And this app takes care of that data at the back end. Now let's go back to home. And if I want to click on sales dashboard, it would bring in to the Power BI tiles where I could take a look at the sales across various customers that I'm handling. And you would have a dashboard which gives you the right insight saying how the sales trend is progressing. And this is useful as a sales engineer who is working hard to meet his unrealistic quota, if you will, and to see the sales trend. So we saw customer insights, we saw customer recommendations, we did see the sales dashboard. Now we would see the sales insights. So in sales insights, what we are trying to provide is the capability of Power BI, or I should say native capability of Power BI. You would have various reports already built on Power BI. If not, we suggest you use Power BI to build analytics reports. And you could easily natively configure those reports into Power Apps. And you can also interact with the Power Apps as well. So I will go back to the app, click on Sales Insights, and it's bringing the real time dashboard. I was trying to interact with the Power BI with a lot of queries, and that's why you saw the system restarted the app. So if I go one by one, it's going to give you seamless data. It's refreshing those data at the back end. And here's the enlarged view. You could take a look at a sales report based on market, shipment, category, and also by segment. So segmentation is done using Dynamics 365 customer data platform. And you could bring those insights and reports, and you could interact with the Power BI report as well. So that's the store report at the top. What you have at the bottom is finance report, where you wanted to see how the sales is tracking based on various products that I sell in the US, Canada, France, and Mexico, and other countries. You could track them pretty much using the Power BI insights plugged into Power Apps. And again, you could interact with the Power BI dashboard like you always do with Power BI. Now let's go back home. So we did see these four functionalities. The next one is all about social media and third party systems. So we start with Twitter feeds, where I have some demo Twitter feed based on the accounts that I have using my trial license. There's hundreds and hundreds of Twitter that you could configure and take into your system. And you have a search option here. Let's say if I say Coca Cola, it would go and list just the Coca Cola related, uh, feeds. And likewise, you can pick what is your next best action going to look like. You don't want to rely on Twitter to track every data there. There could be a lot of garbages in, garbage out as well. So you pick using the search keyword or machine language model to transfer that into either a case or a lead, which gets into Salesforce. So in this case, we will create, let's say, a lead and a case together. The concept is the same. You don't want another form for creating a case and another form for creating a lead, which is totally possible. Now, as a seller, I've seen the Twitter. There is some problem with one of those customers who have tweeted in my hashtag Coca Cola in this case, and I wanted to create a ticket. All right. Now we are not taking this ticket into Dynamics 365. We are taking this into Salesforce. And that's where we wanted to show the power of Power Platform offering, where you could easily integrate using the data integration component, which is nothing but connectors, a premium connector, if you will, to seamlessly work across the system. All right. So let's say account name could be, and you could choose whichever status that you want. And this is all coming from Salesforce. You just pick what is that is required. You could choose technology and stuff like that. I'll just say Twitter ticket just for the tracking purpose. But in real time, you would input those details that's coming from the Twitter, right? So I'm going to say I'll just say ones here and then zeros. All right, cool. I'm going to submit the ticket. Now, what happens is the ticket goes into, it could be a case or it could be a lead, like I said, right? On the top, you see you get an acknowledgement saying the ticket has been submitted. The same is available at the top, which we just created. Now we could create a ticket, we could create a new account, new lead, new contact as well. It follows the same design principle. Plus, what I'm trying to do here is, besides creating a ticket, I'm integrating this particular process with a workflow where I'm using Teams and Outlook to track that inputs. So if you want to enforce workflow approval, that's totally possible. What we will do is we will go into Teams and then track that. And you just saw that I created this one, Ferrari Italy, using Salesforce. And you see that that's come in to Teams. Now I could have an approval there for saying, you know, please approve it. And this is in Outlook, right? A new lead has been created. So I could approve that and the system approves it. Now the approval part is over. What we have to see now is go to Salesforce, and this is my online version of the Salesforce. I would log into the Salesforce to see if that particular item has been updated onto the Salesforce. So as you can see, it just took a few seconds, and the one in the top is what we just created, Twitter ticket. And if I click on that, it's going to show you the details that we entered in the ticket. So it's seamlessly works with the various systems that you may have at the back end. In this case, it was Salesforce, and you have those details captured, and then you can take next best action. Now, you could also create a new contact, a new phone number, which we just did in the Power Apps a few seconds ago. And you get those details in here as well. Now we move back to the Power Apps. We almost completed that part of the integration from Twitter feed and then getting into the Salesforce. And this is already done, which you just saw. So we could also, using the same principle, create new accounts, and we could also see the case management as well. So you saw Twitter feed, and you saw how those Twitter feeds can be taken into the Salesforce as a next best action. A case or a lead or a contact or an account can be created. Now, some companies do use Jira or Atlassian for project management and ticketing system. Using the Jira connector and API, I provided this integration touchpoint to show you another third-party integration that is possible. All right. So now what you see here is the customer service dashboard where there are previous tickets that's available here. We would go ahead and create a new ticket and see how it flows into a Jira. This is all coming from Jira. All this that you wanted to create in Jira. I'll use the same Twitter ticket for tracking that in Jira. You could have more of these HR, finance, marketing, but everything comes from Jira at the back end. Priority, we keep it low. Timeline, we would say May 2nd, and we click on submit. So now that detail is available here, which we just created. Again, we're using Outlook for workflow approval and Teams Adaptive Card for workflow approval before any of these details get into your backend system, which is Jira in this case. Now I'm going to switch back to Outlook as well as Teams to see if that request has flown in into the system. And you just saw this one coming in. This was the earlier one, and within 4 minutes from there, you see this new ticket has been created. Right, this is what we just created, and that's available in Teams. And if I go to Outlook, you should see that as well. And this is the one that's come for Outlook approval. And again, I just did an approval. It would have now triggered that approval process at the back end and goes and updates the data in the Jira system. I do have the Jira system in here. All I have to do is refresh, and you must see that particular item that was just created listed here at the bottom, which is here. Okay, so if I click on that, you would see those details that we typed in. And as you can see, we made it due date as May 2nd. We said it's medium, and this was the subject of the ticket that we created, description, and it is being updated in Atlassian or Jira backend ticketing system. Right. So now we go back home. We've seen all of these until here so far. Out of possibility of showing how the Power Apps and customer insights can be easily integrated to the backend systems. The last one is LinkedIn as part of the social media integration. You can use the LinkedIn developer connector, or you can use the Microsoft LinkedIn connector. You just need an API integration for a handshake, and that would connect your Power Apps into the LinkedIn. So this is on my LinkedIn feed here, and if I click on that, it would take me to the LinkedIn instance itself for me to track my progress in terms of what's happening with my clients and customers in terms of sales and other related social media interactions that would benefit my portfolio to increase my sales. With this, we are coming to the end of the demo. I believe it was insightful. It is one of the biggest demos so far that I've created, where we have seen quite a lot of functionalities in one app, starting from customer insights, AI, ML powered recommendations, sales dashboard using Power BI, real